Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Nathan Mottee for the Australian Evolutionary Movement, and we've got some breaking news this morning with the Bilderberg meeting 2019 we're going to get into. It's just going to be me here reporting on this one today. There'll be a guest in the next video that we do. So we're just going to get into some Bilderberg 2019 information that has just leaked today. Some attendees that will be going and some of the talking points that they're going to be talking about. Head over to the Australian Evolutionary Movement YouTube channel and subscribe to this channel to support the work that we're doing here. You can also go to Facebook, the Australian Evolutionary Movement, for some great content and news you won't get anywhere else. Also find my personal Nathan Mottee page on Facebook. I do recommend using alternative platforms like Minds, but you can also find me here. And all you get is just complete silence from the mainstream media. As you'd expect when you have 130 of the most influential, powerful people from across the world coming together for these Bilderberg meetings. Of course, they're going to send the media under a rock. And the screen behind me that I have is the official bilderbergmeetings.org website, where they're just putting out this information now. I'll get into the back history a little bit later into this video, but I'm going to talk about some of the topics that they're going to be talking about, like Iran, Saudi Arabia, Brexit, that's what it says, and the Yellow Vest, China, Russia, the ethics of artificial intelligence, which is an odd one to hear itself, the weaponization of social media. So these all just sound very suspicious, and you have individuals from Google and Amazon, Twitter, Goldman Sachs coming to this place for the Bilderberg meeting. So of course they are controlling a lot of what is said, and probably the free speech and the purges that has happened on Facebook regard a lot of what they talk about at these meetings. And then you'll soon understand that this information does affect everyone's life. Some of the attendees are just involved in high spots in society. You got heads from military industrial complex companies, heads from the media, political leaders, all sorts of high influential people coming to these meetings. And what's to expect from this? Well, it's going to be heavily monitored, highly secretive as it usually is. Some incidents that have happened in the past regarding these Bilderberg meetings, journalists that have just come to report on the meetings in nearby hotels. Supposedly they've been raided by police, had guns to their head, just for coming to report on this information. Just real thuggish police behaviour as usual, any excuse to do it and intimidate. We'll get into a bit of history about the Bilderberg meetings itself. We can see here that it was formed in 1954, and the 2019 meeting that takes place will happen on the 30th of May until the 2nd of June. So that's only tomorrow, and that was only reported by the Bilderbergs, I think it was today. It will supposedly take place in Sweden at the Fairmont Hotel. At least that's what it says on the official bilderbergmeetings.org website. But we also hear from other sources that it could possibly be in Canada. And this is going to be the official annual 67th Bilderberg meeting to take place. A bit of other history about the Bilderberg meetings. Apparently they're also tied, or Bilderberg participants could also be tied to the Bohemian Grove meetings that they have. If you haven't seen the Bohemian Grove, research it yourself. Some very strange stuff happens there. But apparently from the media, it's just a bunch of golfers going to the Bohemian Grove. But when you really look at it, it's got some strange behaviour, like the ritual performance that they perform called the cremation of care, where they burn a sacrifice to the 40-foot stone owl. And these Bohemian Grove meetings happen not long after the actual Bilderberg meetings. It must just be some weekend resort for these guys. And the Bilderberg group has a long list of elite core members that have attended these meetings for decades, like Henry Kissinger, David Rockefeller, Queen Beatrice of the Netherlands, and James Wolfensohn, the former president of the World Bank. And he was born in Australia, and he attended the 2010, 11, and 12 Bilderberg meetings. Even though he was recorded as a participant representing the United States because that's where he had moved and lived at the time. It was also revealed in 2009 from the chairman of the Bilderberg that they helped create the euro in the 1990s. Were Some other attendees that were reportedly including to this were Eric Schmidt, Mike Pompeo, and Jared Kushner. And some other reports say that Henry Kissinger met with Donald Trump just before this meeting. Of course, these guys are some very powerful people tied into the Clintons, secretaries of states, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law. So, well, it's very interesting and I'm very intrigued to know what they're talking about. But I guess we'll never know. It's just a private club for these guys. We're going to get into some of the new 5G information that has just come out. With some new information that's just come out, and it just gets more terrifying by the day as they suppress the information more and more. And if you want to know about the 5G uh, and the negative ramifications that are going to come from it, you can check out some of my previous videos. And they are actually setting up police surveillance vans in the UK for facial recognition testing as a trial run. A man in the UK was fined $90 for covering his face from these facial recognition cameras. So here's the article. A man was fined $90 for refusing to show his face to police trialing a new facial recognition software. So the man pulled up his jumper. Apparently, there are reports that also two 12-year-olds are even arrested for refusing to go by this Big Brother campaign. It's just track, trace, and database. And this is just a total invasion of privacy. We can see the Orwellian nightmare becoming full circle. Uh, but also, But also regarding 5G, we're just going to back off from that. We've been talking about the health risks in previous videos, so make sure you check out the in the links below regarding 5G. So scientists have just come out ringing the alarm with major warnings about 5G. So the international AEM scientists appeal they have serious concerns about increased cancer risk, cellular stress, genetic damages, structural and functional changes of the reproductive system, and negative impacts on general being in humans, and of course for plant life and animal life. So make sure to check out those links below because we've talked about this stuff and it's just going to be antennas pushing out this radiation, and it's pretty much inescapable. We've also talked about because there was also a Zero Hedge article talking about the same thing. It said over in Israel there was one scientist that discovered that the surface of the human body actually draws in 5G radiation like an antenna. So we're just constantly absorbing this stuff, and because ultimately we are transmitters and receivers of information, and the effects these frequencies play to our physical, mental, emotional, and psychological state, as well as trigger and rage, and build anger. There will be nowhere for us to go, nowhere for us to escape from this. And with some new information that has just come out, 5G, ultra fast 5G internet arrives in Australia. What it is and how it works. Of course, this is only going to be a glimpse of what 5G actually comes with. So currently only Telstra customers can buy 5G compatible phones and modems that promise super fast speeds. Optus and other telcos will also start offering the service in the coming months. Downloads are up to 20 times quicker than 4G, which means an entire movie can download in just 5 seconds. 5G also supports more devices at once, so your internet won't drop out in crowded places. So we're not too sure about Huawei, the Chinese company's stance on this at the moment. I think that they were banned, and I don't think they're proceeding with that. But I've also heard some articles. But I still hear that Huawei will play a part in the phone companies that will come. Um, and you would have to expect this to be a talking point for the Bilderberg meeting and how they're going to control the narrative to this. Uh, I also hear that there's alternative ways to 5G proofing your home. Um, so you can check our videos on YouTube about that. So we're going to end this one here. It's the first one. We haven't had a guest on this show, and I just wanted to get into a few talking points and some new information that has just come out. So make sure you check me out on Facebook, the AEM page. Like and subscribe. Also check out alternative platforms, MeWe and Minds. And thanks for watching, everyone. I will talk to you soon.